I'm Camille Hankins, and guess what I'm going to talk about? SHAC? Anybody? No? Is it a mystery who I represent? I'm with Win Animal Rights, founder and the current coordinator of Win Animal Rights WAR, the press officer for the North American Animal Liberation Press Office. Very proud of that role. Currently with a little bit of laryngitis, so bear with me as I squeak through my presentation. And most proudly, we announced at this conference that we were launching SHAC North America. It's been too long since we've been able to have a SHAC presence in the United States. SHAC is represented in 18 countries around the world and was not represented here in the United States since the prosecution of those brave warriors, the SHAC 7, 3 of whom are still in prison. How many of you are familiar with the SHAC campaign and know what it's all about? Okay, there are a small handful that that are hearing this for the first time, so I'm going to take about a minute or two just to tell you who they are. The SHAC campaign, SHAC stands for Stop Huntington Animal Cruelty. And Huntingdon Life Sciences is a company that was based out of England and was run out of England by animal rights activists. They were taken off the London Stock Exchange, and because of the severity of the campaign against them in the UK, they fled to the United States and set up business outside of Princeton, New Jersey. They did that about 10 years ago, and since then, activists in the UK and coordinating with activists in the United States launched SHAC USA. And then about 4 years ago, there was a prosecution, a federal prosecution under the Animal Enterprise Protection Act that put six activists on the SHAC campaign that was seen to be the leaders of the SHAC campaign in federal prison for sentences ranging from 1 year to, I believe Kevin Jonas is the top at 6 years. What Huntingdon Life Sciences does is they kill 500 animals every day, 180,000 animals a year for product testing. They're not looking for the cure for cancer, not that I'm saying that it would be reasonable to use animals for that either. But these people are literally working on things like toothpaste and tanning lotion and pesticides and things that have already been tested and retested. And they're doing this, they're working internationally, they're working with companies internationally. But we're lucky enough here in the United States to have umpteen different drug companies, including Novartis and GlaxoSmithKline and Pfizer and Bristol-Myers Squibb here in the United States doing business. So we've been able to very effectively work on the campaign here in the United States, along with the other 18 countries around the world that are waging this campaign. I want to spend some time talking to you about what's happened recently, because a lot of people are confused about where we are right now with this campaign. Very recently, Andrew Baker, the CEO of Huntingdon Life Sciences, made a startling announcement about taking the company private. And I'm gonna talk about that in just a little bit, but let me kind of lead you through what's happened in the last year with Huntingdon Life Sciences on a financial basis, because all companies are all about money. Don't ever delude yourself into thinking that they're in it for any other reason. And I'm talking about specifically the drug companies. The drug companies are all in it for money. So the financials become very important to this campaign. At the end of 2008, Huntingdon Life Sciences had been trading at a high level on the New York Stock Exchange of $38 and about 50 cents. There was a very aggressive campaign to take out their major shareholders. Groups around the world protested not only the New York Stock Exchange, but also the major institutions that held the stock. Those were institutions like Raymond James, a very, very big capital markets company. There's a small partnership in New York named H Partners, which was the second largest institutional investor. Groups around the world started campaigning against them using the things that are the hallmarks of the SHAC campaign: home demonstrations, office demonstrations. If the company or anyone that does business with Huntingdon Life Sciences was appearing at a conference or was receiving an award, generally activists will be crashing that award ceremony or crashing that career day. I remember one instance, this was back a few years ago, I remember that they had a career day at Rutgers University, which is very close to Huntingdon Life Sciences in New Jersey, and someone vomited on their table. And then all of their sign-up sheets disappeared. So, everywhere they go, they're meeting this kind of resistance from the campaign. And so we launched against the institutional investors, both in New York and England and again around the world, because it is a global campaign. As a result of that, within 6 months, actually within more like 3 or 4 months, in March of 2008, their share price was $4.79. The lowest that it's been in probably the last 6 or 7 years. That was the height of the SHAC campaign when we brought them down that low. And it's an astronomical difference to have a company that's capitalized and worth $200 or $300 million, and all of a sudden they're at $4 and change, and their worth on the market is roughly, a quarter of what it was 3 months ago. And a lot of that came from losing their institutional investors and having the investors lose confidence in the company. But they also had a part in their own share price decline. During that period of time, as soon as we had the reports of the first quarter financials to the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, which is part of what they have to do as a publicly traded company, we found that their revenue dropped. I'm not good with numbers, bear with me. Okay, their revenue dropped from, it was a 24% drop in revenue from the first quarter of 2008 to the first quarter of 2009. As a consequence of that, the stock dropped even further. So we had huge declines in the share price. That forced Huntingdon Life Sciences into a position where they had to do some very fancy footwork to convince investors to start investing again. So what they did is they did 3 things. The first thing they did is they announced that they were moving back, they were finally going to move back to England because the global campaign, or the British campaign against them, had been neutralized. Well, I challenge anybody to look at the SHAC.net website and see any decline in activity, even though they've taken out 2 levels of activists. They've taken out all the leadership of SHAC and then taken out the people that went right behind them. And still the campaign has been phenomenally successful and tremendous activities literally all around the world. And if you have any doubt about that, either look at the website or come down and watch Time Fraction 4. And you'll see what's going on in different places around the world, including places in South America. We've got Russia, we've got Uzbekistan, we've got just you name it, and they're out there doing demonstrations. So that was the first gambit, and what that did is that took them from about that just under $5 a share and propped them back up to $7 a share. Then they released the first quarter reports and it went back down again. So they had to do something else. So what happened is there was a big announcement that Andrew Baker was going to take the company private. And he named a price of $7.50. Which means that he would be getting the stock that at one time sold $38.50 to $7.50 a share. Well, naturally that didn't sit well with a lot of the shareholders that came in at the high end. So class action lawsuits were filed against them. Stock price went back up just a little bit because in today's marketplace, any company, any investment firm will buy stock if they think they can make even 10 to 15 cents a share. The market is so depressed that even a small amount of profit that's guaranteed. And guess what happened? Andrew Baker said $7.50. The price went up to $7.25 and then stabilized, exactly what we thought was going to happen. The next thing that happened is that it started to decline again. And they have a magic number. They have to stay at $7 a share, they would get kicked off of the New York Stock Exchange for being under the minimums. And of course they were under, but you have to be under for 30 days in order to really get the letter and be officially asked to leave the New York Stock Exchange. So as the stock price started to decline again, they needed something else to do. So we have some more fancy footwork, and they come back with another offer. Andrew Baker makes an offer of $8.50. So where is the stock now? $8.20. And stable. Nobody is buying any additional stock. But guess what? 2 class action lawsuits. So class action lawsuits can really either stymie that whole process of going private, or it could actually put it completely, it'll either put it on the back burner or it'll completely eliminate the possibility of the buyout. Now, people have asked me, what does going private mean? Oh, I've seen a lot of activists immediately hit the internet saying, oh, well, that's it, the campaign's over, we can't do anything now. That's not true at all. Okay, as a matter of fact, I was pleased with the announcement that they were going private for a couple of reasons. First of all, we now can focus specifically on the Huntingdon Life Sciences employees, and we can also focus on their lifeblood, which is their customers. So to me, not having to worry about investors really simplifies my life, because now we can spend all of our time taking their revenue away. And that's exactly what we'll do. The only thing that we will lose is we will lose that ability to be aware on a quarterly basis of where they are financially. However, since they have an auditor that doesn't really exist and then has an office in New Jersey that is unoccupied, how much do we trust their figures anyway? Okay? The directors are from third world countries. The 3 people that are the management board of directors, which is Andrew Baker, Brian Cass, and Michelson, those 3 guys are so heavily invested in their own company that we can't trust them for their figures. So I don't really think that we're losing anything with that. And just think about this. This is a company that spent the last 10 years trying to get on the New York Stock Exchange, was invited on the stock exchange in 2005, and as a result of the campaign against the New York Stock Exchange, was asked to leave, was never allowed to join, actually. Finally worked their way on to a lesser exchange that's part of the New York Stock Exchange, finally got to where they want, and now they're leaving voluntarily. Aww. And we're supposed to think that they want that. They're leaving the New York Stock Exchange that they fought to get on because they know they can't possibly sustain the illusion that they're a healthy financial company. They know that eventually, because of the campaign against them, they're going to be asked to leave the New York Stock Exchange, and basically what they're doing is they're leaving before they get kicked out. In conclusion, I'd like to say just a few words about the recent announcement about the formation of SHAC North America. We're very, very excited to once again have SHAC represented in the United States. What we feel we can bring to the campaign is some of the things that SHAC USA did in the past, which is to act as an umbrella and to help activists that are in local communities, grassroots activists, to get involved in the campaign. So we're hoping that after an initial period of doing some fundraising and organization, that we can then offer activists free literature, free posters, free speakers, venues, all of the material and resources that they need to do action against Huntingdon Life Sciences. So what we're looking for from everyone who's interested in getting involved in this campaign is to sign up. I'm going to pass the sign. Well, I'll just leave the sign-up sheet at the front of the at the front table. And if you'll take a moment, or come to the SHAC table or the ward table and sign up, we'll get in touch with you and tell you what you can do to help us on this campaign. Huntingdon Life Sciences is in a position right now that I've seen them in once or twice before, where they were almost ready to fold. But we have an assist this year in the economy, the Bush-created economy that's spiraling out of control. And we have a window of opportunity while this company doesn't have all the support from the drug companies that it's enjoyed in the past, because those companies are all trying to save their own asses right now. So they're not too interested in worrying about Huntingdon Life Sciences. So what we need to do is we need to get on it right now. Right now, when they're down and they're financially, they're $78 million in debt. And this is a company that under tremendous financial attack around the world, and also a company that's paying incredible interest rates on their loans. We can make it so that they never repay that loan again, and in that case, we'll not only be hurting Huntingdon Life Sciences, we'll be hurting the scumbags that financed Huntingdon Life Sciences, and we'll be stopping the killing of 500 animals every single day. Thank you.